not an alliance of convenience. It is a partnership of purpose. Alliances can wither or be destroyed, but partnerships of purpose are indestructible. Friendships can be shaken, but our friendship is unshakable. Treaties can be broken, but our partnership is unbreakable. And I know that there is no power on earth that can ever drive us apart. We will work tirelessly with you as partners for peace in the Middle East, for a two-state solution proposed by President Clinton and driven forward by President Bush that provides for nothing less than a secure Israel, safe within its borders, existing side by side with a viable Palestinian state. And we will work tirelessly with you to reduce the threat of nuclear proliferation and reduce the stockpile of nuclear weapons. And our shared message to Iran, it is simple. We are ready for you to rejoin the international community. But first, you must cease your threats and suspend your nuclear program. Past Prime Ministers have travelled to this Capitol building in times of war to talk of war. I come now to talk of new and different battles we must also fight together, to speak of a global economy in crisis and a planet in peril. These are new priorities for our new times. And let us be honest, tonight too many parents, after they put their children to bed, will speak of their worries about losing their jobs or the need to sell the house. Too many will share stories of friends or neighbours already packing up their homes. Too many will talk of a local store or business that has already gone to the wall. For me, this global recession is not to be measured just in statistics or in graphs or on a balance sheet. Instead, I see one individual with one set of dreams and fears, then another, and then another, each with their own stars to reach for, each part of a family, each at the heart of a community, now in need of help and hope. And when banks have failed and markets have faltered, we, the representatives of the people, have to be the people's last line of defence. And that's why, for me, there is no financial orthodoxy so entrenched. There's no conventional thinking so ingrained. There's no special interest so strong that it should ever stand in the way of the change that hard-working families now need. We have learned through this world downturn that markets should be free, but markets should never be values-free. We have learned that the risks people take should never be separated from the responsibilities that they must meet. And if perhaps someone thought it beyond our power to shape global markets to meet the needs of the people, we now know that that is our duty. We cannot and must not stand aside. In our families and workplaces, and in our places of worship, we celebrate men and women of integrity who work hard, treat people fairly, take responsibility, look out for others. And if these are the principles we live by in our families and neighbourhoods, they should also be the principles that guide and govern our economic life. And the world has learned that what makes for the good society also now makes for the good economy too. My father was a minister of the church, and I've learned again what I was taught by him, that wealth should help more than the wealthy, that good fortune should serve more than the fortunate, and that riches must enrich not just some of our communities, but all of our communities. And these enduring values are, my view, the values we need for these new times. We tend to think of the sweep of history as stretching across many months and years before culminating in decisive moments that we call history. But sometimes the reality is that defining moments of history come suddenly and without warning, and the task of leadership then is to define them, to shape them, and to move forward into the new world they demand. An economic hurricane has swept the world, creating a crisis of credit and a crisis of confidence. History has brought us now to a point where change is essential, and we are summoned not just to manage our times, but to transform them. And our task is to rebuild prosperity and security in a wholly different economic world, where competition is no longer just local, but it's global, and where banks are no longer national, but they're international. And we need to understand, therefore, what went wrong in this crisis, that the very financial instruments that were designed to diversify risk across the banking system instead spread contagion right across the globe. And today's financial institutions, they're so interwoven that a bad bank anywhere is a threat to good banks everywhere. But should we succumb to a race to the bottom and to a protectionism that history tells us that in the end protects no one? No, we should have the confidence, America and Britain most of all, that we can seize the global opportunities ahead and make the future work for us. And why? Because while today people are anxious and feel insecure, over the next 2 decades, literally billions of people in other continents will move from being simply producers of their goods to being consumers of our goods. And in this way, the world economy will double in size. Twice as many opportunities for business, twice as much prosperity, the biggest expansion of middle-class incomes and jobs the world has seen. So we win our future not by retreating from the world, but by engaging with it. And America and Britain will succeed and lead if we tap into the talents of our people, unleash the genius of our scientists, set free the drive of our entrepreneurs. We will win the race to the top if we can develop the new high value-added products and services and the new green goods that the rising number of hard-working families across our globe will want to buy. So in these unprecedented times, we must educate our way out of the downturn. We must invest and invent our way out of the downturn. We must retool and reskill our way out of the downturn. And this is not blind optimism or synthetic confidence to console people. It's the practical affirmation for our times of a faith in a better future. Every time we rebuild a school, we demonstrate our faith in the future. Every time we send more people to university, every time we invest more in our new digital infrastructure, every time we increase support for our scientists, we demonstrate our faith in the future. And so I say to this Congress and this country, something that runs deep in your character and is woven in your history. We conquer our fear of the future through our faith in the future. And it is this faith in the future that means we must commit to protecting the planet for generations that will come long after us. The Greek proverb, what does it say? Why does anybody plant the seeds of a tree whose shade they will never see? The answer is because they look to the future. And I believe you, the nation that had the vision to put a man on the moon, are also the nation with the vision to protect and preserve our planet Earth. And you know it's only by investing in environmental technology, that we can end the dictatorship of oil, and it's only by tackling climate change that we can create the millions of new green jobs that we need and can have. For the lesson of this crisis